In this video, I'm going to teach you how you can squat deep. I'll share my routine, the routine that I did that got my squat from this to this. I went from this horrible thing and this beautiful looking squat, and I'm 6'2" or 1 meter 87 centimeters. I have long legs, so I'm not built for squat, and I've achieved this. So why squat deep? What is the reason for you to even think about squatting deep? Well, squatting deep will give you more resilience. You'll be less prone to injuries in your knee, your hips, which a lot of people face in their career as an athlete, and you will develop more muscle mass in your legs due to the increased range of motion. And it looks way better than the parallel above 9 degrees squat. The first thing, what is squatting deep and what are my standards? For me, squatting deep is this: your hamstrings touching your calves, upright torso, and your knees traveling forward. This is what is squatting deep for me. This is me doing the squat, long legs, as you can see, heels on the floor. A lot of people, when they try to do a deep squat, their heels tend to leave the floor, and I'm doing this with a flat shoe, which is even better. Well, what are my standards? I'd say 1.5 times your body weight for at least one rep. And why? There's a big difference in doing the squat with the weight on your back and doing it with an empty bar or body weight. And a lot of people, when they're trying to do a deep squat, their backs do this. They round their backs because they cannot be on that position comfortably. And with weight, would make it way harder. Why you cannot squat deep? There's a few reasons that I think people cannot squat deep, and these were the reasons why I could not squat deep before. And I've seen a lot of people facing the same problems. So the first thing is, these muscles around here are very tight, are weak, and you don't have enough mobility there. And when you're squatting, when you're in this deep position, you recruit a lot of these muscles. You are forced to open your hips to have a good mobility in that area and have them strong for you to be in that position comfortably and without pain. Another problem is that you lack the mobility and strength in these areas, in your ankle extensors, mainly in this area. A lot of people, when they do the squat, when they're trying to push their knees forwards and go deep, they feel like this sensation of stretch and tightness around this area. And also your ankle flexors, mainly this area and here. A lot of people, when they're trying to go deep, they feel, let's imagine this is your foot, right? When you're trying to do a squat, this is gonna happen. Your knees will push forward, and a lot of people feel the tightness around here, and they cannot push the knees to the front, and their tibias feel like they're stretching too much or they're super tight. This is also a problem that a lot of people face with doing a deep squat. So let's analyze this example here. When you're doing the squat, here needs to travel forward. Your knees need to travel forward, and you put a lot of pressure here, and you're stretching this area, which is important for you to go deep. And you need to have them mobile, flexible, and strong enough to stretch them and have enough mobility also here in this area. Then, one problem that may be harder to fix. So you have a normal foot and a flat foot. When you have a normal foot, you can push your knees forward. Your ankle can move more freely. You can go like this. This is your knees example, and your ankles can bend more because you have this normal foot arch that allows you to move more freely, and you don't feel as much tightness here or here as a person with a flat foot. A person with a flat foot, for them to push their knees forward, they will feel an immense discomfort around here, which may not allow them to go that deep. So flat foot, I don't know how to fix this. This is not my area, but you can relieve it with using some baseball or tennis balls below your foot and start and massaging it. It can relieve some tension. So now, what to do? There's two main things here that I did. Drop your ego down and back off on the squat. Exercise selection according to your problems. If you have more of a hip problem, then focusing more on the hips area or lower back area. Or if you have more of an ankle problem, then focusing more there. These are the main two things that you should think about. And why drop your ego down and back off in the squat? You may have to remove 30% of the load on your squat for you to get enough range of motion. You have to rebuild it back. And the thing is, you will not regret it. These are the exercises that I did, and it worked. They worked perfectly for me, and I'd recommend for most people. So the first exercise is the ATG split squat. This exercise is incredible because it will make you stretch this area. It will make you stretch your hips, this area here. And this will allow you to develop more mobility, strengthen that area, and hypertrophy in this area that you don't do in other exercises. So this is where you start, and I'm going to explain how you progress on every single movement, what you should focus on, and the rep ranges later on in the video. So just wait a second. So you may start like this if you don't have enough mobility, if you don't have enough strength, and then you go for a tinier box. And then you go like this, use plates. And the goal is always to put your hamstrings touching your calves and stretching your quads and your hips. You want to push down and forward to stretch your dips and build that resilience, that mobility, that strength in that part. And then eventually you'll do it on the floor. If you can do this like this, you probably can squat deep. And the thing is, you want your foot to be flat on the floor. This is like the highest level of the ATG split squats. You need a lot of mobility here in this area to perform this. And then the second exercise, seated good mornings. Seated good mornings are a very good exercise because they allow you to strengthen your hips, your lower back, and your core, which is very important for the squat. When you're doing the seated good mornings, you want to open your legs as much as possible so you can feel the stretch on your hips on this area that I've been mentioning a lot. And the goal here is not carrying as much load, is to be able to have more range of motion every single time, every single week, every single month. Eventually, you want your back to be like this, your head like this. This will build a lot of mobility, will give you a lot of relief in this area. The glute, the core, the pelvic floor, the inner thighs area. And then front squats. Front squats is a very good exercise because it will allow you to go deep. And the thing is, you want to use a high heel shoes or use some elevation plates or whatever you have that will allow you to be in this position and build the work capacity there while maintaining your back straight. Front squats is a very good exercise to strengthen your core for the back squat. And I did it, I started doing it, and it was amazing because it helped me be more comfortable in that position. And front squats is even harder than back squats, so you'll build strength on your quads. It will teach you to be in this position with your chest proud, upright torso, which is important for a deep squat. And I divided this exercise in part 1, part 2, part 3, and I'll explain why. In here in part 2, you have the butterflies. I'll leave a video down in the description on how you have to perform it. with weights because the goal here is to have your legs around here. This will give you a lot of mobility, will allow you to open your hips properly and to sit down on the squat. And then you have calf raises. And the goal here is not to carry as much weight, is not to focus on hypertrophy on calves, but to stretch this area and strengthen that part, which is important for you to be on that position in the deep squat, as I mentioned in the beginning. Tibia raises. Also, the other exercise to strengthen your hip, your ankle flexors, to strengthen this area and your tibias, which is important in the deep squat position. And then back squat. Back squat will be a secondary movement, will not be your focus for a certain period of time. Here you want to drop the weight on the squat and rebuild it back. And the goal here with the squat is to go as deep as possible and try to make progress every week with the range of motion and of course the load, because you want also to get strong. You want to get comfortable in that deep position. Part 3, the warm-ups. The warm-ups are important. Most people, when they're gonna do the squat, they just take the bar, do a couple reps, and that's the warm-up. They start adding more load. And warm-ups are so important for you to have enough range of motion to be comfortable on your hip, your ankle, your quads, your core, your glutes, everything. So warm-ups are very important. Dynamic warm-ups, more precisely. I'll leave another link in the video of a reel that I made a couple months ago on how to warm up for the squat. And now, progress. How do you progress here? You want to progress in load, reps and sets, and range of motion. And there's an hierarchy for me. First of all, range of motion. This is the most important thing. You want to increase the range of motion in every single exercise that I've just shown. The ATG split squats, the good mornings, the calf raises, the tibia raises, everything. You want to increase the range of motion. This is what will give you the ability to go deep in that position, be comfortable in that position, and strong in that position. And then building the reps. Why? You want more work capacity. You want to have the practice on the movement, be able to do it for reps and reps and reps for your brain, your nervous system to learn the movement pattern. And then the load. Start adding loads and more load to get stronger, to build more muscle mass, and also for you to build more mobility. Because if you put more load in bigger ranges of motion, you get stronger in those ranges of motion and you'll be able to go deeper with time. And then sets. So you're going to start working on the 8 to 12 rep range to build the reps in, to practice, to increase the range of motion, to build the muscle, so you can learn the movement pattern, like I said just now. And you want to be on the RPE 7. You don't want this to be a very taxing to your nervous system, a very taxing to your muscles. You want this to be not easy and not very hard, like a midterm. You want to focus on the range of motion to build a work capacity, to be comfortable in that position. And to progress at small increments when the load gets too easy. 2.5 to 5 kgs. This could be every 2 weeks or every week you add 2.5 kgs without messing with the range of motion. 6 to 9 sets a week, more sets on exercises that are harder or you have more trouble in.